and this will be the third time that I'm ever recording it, and this time it's going to be live, and I'm actually kind of excited for this because I'm actually going to use this recording as an opportunity to really give you guys a crash course on first generation Monster Hunter, because I was kind of wanting to do that in my last attempt at touching Freedom, which was in the Random Hunt series. I can't remember what part of Random Hunts it was. I might actually... No, I won't check, actually, because that's... No, I can check. Excuse me. I'm not going to be Mr. Lazy. I'm actually going to tell you what part that was in Doomlink's Random Hunts when I did that. It was part 85. I took some time to actually do some hunts in Monster Hunter Freedom, and I tried to, in that time, talk about as much about Monster Hunter Freedom and first generation Monster Hunter that differed from what you may be familiar with. But it was a little bit high strung, and it was, yeah, a bit of a mess. Probably not to you, but it certainly felt that way to me. So I'm just going to take it easy this time. We're just going to play the game in a less stressed scenario. And I'm indeed going to go through basically everything that you need to know about first generation Monster Hunter. First and foremost, this is my character profile. This is my very first generation character profile. I created it in 2018, and I haven't really done much with it overall. This is pretty low in terms of progress made in a Monster Hunter game for me. Like, by my standards, usually I put about a minimum of 600 hours into every Monster Hunter game that I play, and I will mention that this is certainly not the end. Now that I think about it, well, as in, you know, I'm going to continue building this character. I'm not stopping at 143 hours, but I just realized that I'd actually forgotten to close one of my windows. I can actually hear a very loud fucking bird outside. One reason that I close my windows is because the fauna in Australia likes to ruin my recordings, so I'll actually be back in just one moment. Assuming you couldn't hear it for whatever reason, that was a cockatoo screeching. Now, if you don't know what that sounds like, go listen to the sound of a cockatoo screeching, or squawking, I suppose would be the word, and you'll know exactly why I don't want that in my recording. Oh yes, that's right, I forgot to do that stupid thing with... I think it can be edited during the recording. If you're wondering why on YouTube it just says multi-streaming with restream.io, it's because YouTube is... Well, the way that it works, because YouTube wants to make everything much harder with their terrible design choices, these days there is an extra step to going live with Restream with YouTube specifically. Wasn't always that way because YouTube has made stupid decisions. I would have to restart the live stream for those changes to be in place. So therefore you guys are just going to have to live with this. I believe there are basically no settings whatsoever for the live stream, but hey, you know what? This is mostly targeted to Twitch anyway. So life goes on. If you're confused by the fact that it says multi-streaming with restream.io, then you're just going to have to continue to be confused. Okay, so next... Well, first, we're actually going to get the chat up for YouTube. I don't want any questions as to why it looks like that, by the way. Don't want any questions at all. And hello, Spaceman. But yes, if I get any questions, I'm going to be upset. Because I don't want to have to explain it again. But as I said, this is going to be a video where I go into fairly deep discussion as to how first generation Monster Hunter works. I'll be going purely based off, you know, the top of my head. I'm just going to be going around the village here and talking about what's happening in first generation Monster Hunter, everything that comes to mind. And what's amazing about first generation Monster Hunter is the fact that everywhere you turn there is something different to second generation. People will see first generation Monster Hunter, and at first glance, at first blush, they will think, wow, this is so similar to second generation, visually, that it must be roughly the same sort of game. It's really not. It is very, very different. And the reason why it is very, very different is because every single aspect of Monster Hunter that we would interact with in second generation that actually translates fairly well to third generation, I can assure you does not translate in generation 1. First generation is... it's unique. It is something on its own because it is a very different experience. In the case of Monster Hunter Freedom Unite, most of the difficulties that you will have are more surface level. Things like, let's say, bad hitboxes. Well, that doesn't really have to do with the actual formula of Monster Hunter. That has to do with bad design with certain monsters, and I would say that that's very important. I'm not just sweeping that under the carpet and saying that bad hitboxes aren't a big deal. What I mean to say is that that's actually separate to what I'm talking about here. What I'm talking about is aspects of Monster Hunter that we are familiar with that are just not present in Generation 1. And I want to take the time to talk about this because a lot of you probably aren't familiar with this stuff. I've been literally dying to make this stream, yeah. Wouldn't it be great if I could have Restream actually look proper when I'm finally doing this live stream as well? But it will be fine for the VOD, of course. It's just for those tuning in live, it will not have any video information. So outside of that, however, everything should look perfectly fine. So what do I... let's think of an example of something that's absolutely fundamental to Monster Hunter that is totally different here. Some of what I'm going to be saying here is a reiteration of what has already been said in that Doomlink's Random Hunts video, but I would like to have something a little more comprehensive here. I'd like to just talk about everything that I can. So, there we go. Just making a slight adjustment there for my green screen. Okay. Rather than worry about something fundamental, or I suppose we could worry about something fundamental, because this is actually a good time to address this. See how I've got all of these materials here? From Gold Raytheon and Silver Rathalos? These are not actually just from carves, because if you actually look at the number of items I have here, this is more than what you could possibly carve from 2 monsters. The reality is that in this game, you cannot send items directly to the box after request. What you must do is actually put them all into your inventory at the end of a quest. And if you don't have enough inventory space, you must forego those rewards entirely. You must just leave them. You can't even sell them. Can you believe that if you can't fit the items in your inventory for whatever reason, and you decide to part with those items, you can't even sell them? Well, that's an example of fundamental aspects to Monster Hunter that we just take for granted. We're just like, yeah, that makes sense. I can just take all of my rewards at the end of the quest without really having to worry. Well, in this game, something as simple as just getting your quest rewards is actually a fucking nightmare. And one thing that is really important to mention is that this game never gets good. What changes in you, or rather what changes in general, is your capacity to tolerate everything that's wrong with first generation Monster Hunter. Because unless you started in first generation, it is a matter of just tolerating it. Because let's say for instance, you started in first generation Monster Hunter, everything about Monster Hunter that formulated in your mind was done at face value, in the sense that what I see as just a terribly inconvenient system, in other words, the quest reward system that I've just described, if you're just learning how to play Monster Hunter with no other point of reference, you would just take that on board as just part of the game. You wouldn't even really question it. Whereas someone like me who started in Monster Hunter Freedom Unite, that is terrible and absolutely just... it really detracts from the experience at first. And so what you must do is develop a tolerance for it. You must become desensitized to the frustration. Now, what I just said probably sounds bad enough, right? You can't even really interact with the box, and that's not just for quest rewards at the end of a quest. Beyond that, you've also got well, okay, you can't actually interact with the box with anything. You can't interact with the farm, you can't interact with it through the farm. In other words, if you are collecting something from the farm, you can't send anything directly to the box. You actually have to put all of the farm stuff in your inventory, then manually go to the box and put it in the box there. So that's what I mean by not being able to interact with the box from a distance. Here's another problem. This is all the storage space you get. You guys are probably familiar with 10 pages, maybe even 20 pages. No, 3 is what you get in Monster Hunter G and Monster Hunter Freedom, because keep in mind, this is sort of a portable version of Monster Hunter G, which was the first G-rank Monster Hunter game. So they know that you're going to be hunting low rank, high rank, and G-rank monsters, albeit there are only high rank and G-rank materials, despite the existence of low rank monsters. That's important to mention. But, well, it's what we would identify as low rank and high rank materials, but it's treated as high rank and G rank in first generation. But, yeah, not only is box space function, or rather box functionality in general, much more primitive in first generation, you're also dealing with very, very limited storage capacity. And this is all you get. Now let's say, for example, and you know what's incredible? That's not even the end of it. What I've just said is not even the end of it. Let me give you an example. Let's take honey. Honey, I believe, can only stack... Well, no, that's not even a good example. Let's take this. Flash bombs can only be placed in the box in stacks of 5. And you will find this with lots and lots of types of materials and item types. So, or they were nice enough to allow you to stack to 99. But honey, for example, I believe it doesn't seem to max out at 5. I think it maxes out at 10. You can store honey in stacks of 10. So this is the ridiculous thing. Not only can you not interact with the box from a distance, not only are you given a maximum of 3 pages in your box, you're not even able to stack up to 99 of everything that can possibly be put in the box. In some cases, you can only stack up to 10, which means that you're actually needing more space in this game than in any other game, and yet you are given less than in any other game. It's incredible. We're not even dealing with hunting yet. We're dealing with the basics of Monster Hunter, just the basic stuff like your bread and butter, the tools that you use to interact with the game. You've basically been given nothing. You've been given a bread knife to hack a piece of meat. It's amazing. More like a butter knife, honestly. It's the same with mushrooms, but only certain mushrooms. They've decided that nitro shrooms can be stacked up higher than 10. Same with blue mushrooms, to my understanding. Whereas stun shrooms, no, we're going to leave that at 10. They've just arbitrarily decided how much you're going to need of each type of mushroom. They think, he's not going to need so many stun shrooms, so you're going to only be able to carry 10. Well, that's not very helpful, is it? Because what if I'm a gunner and I want to combine for paralysis shots? Well, tough shit. I guess the idea is because stun shrooms are considered for some reason to be more valuable than nitro shrooms, they take up more space in your box if you want lots of them. It's insane. Now, if you're someone like me, and you want to accumulate lots of items over time in the game by, let's say, gathering at the mushroom tree, or, well, how does it work in this game? Yeah, it's a mushroom log, sorry. If you're gathering at the mushroom log every time you finish a quest, you're amassing lots of mushrooms to use at a later date whenever you need them. That's great, right? Well, in this game, certain mushrooms are really bad to keep. Like stun shrooms. Very useful, but they take up precious space in your very limited storage. And let me tell you, Bob the Builder's got his angle grinder out. He would choose today to do that. He also had his circular saw on just before. But anyway, hopefully that's not too audible for you guys. Anyway, yeah, so what I'm basically communicating here is that things that we appreciated in the later games cannot be appreciated here. And if you think only being able to stack up to 10 honey until you need to create a new stack in your box is bad, well, let me see if I can show you something. So you'll notice that, okay, if you're familiar with Kokotov Village from Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate, and Generations for that matter, you'll notice that the cropping here is really weird. That's because it was originally designed for a 4:3 ratio. And instead of displaying it differently, obviously with, I don't really know how to explain that in game terms, but basically, or in game design terms, but basically instead of just optimizing the original space for 16:9, or whatever the ratio is for PSP, I think it's 16:9, they just cropped into 4:3 to give you this very letterboxed sort of image. I don't know why I'm sure if I just open this like that, that should be smoother. There we go. I just had my OBS window up and I think it was creating performance issues. But yeah, you can see that you can't really see ahead of you properly. You're very zoomed into the character. If you're on PS2, in other words, in Monster Hunter 1 or in Monster Hunter G, you're much more zoomed out from your character, and you can see Kokotov Village much better. Here, as I say, you can't really see much. It's because they're cropping inside the 4:3 ratio to create 16:9, and it's just terrible. It's nice to be closer to the character, I suppose, but again, the village is just not designed to be viewed this way, and it doesn't look very nice. So even if you've played Generations and Generations Ultimate, and that is your level of familiarity with Kokotov Village, you'll still be able to see that this is pretty terrible for actually seeing where you are and appreciating the space that you're in. It's just, it's an example of the laziness of Capcom in this era of Monster Hunter. But anyway, what was I going to show you? That's right, I was going to show you the farm. Kokoto Farm is just over here, and it's a fucking mess, and I'm going to tell you why. So, Mushroom Log is just over here. My farm is fully upgraded because how they work it in this game, this is totally different to any other Monster Hunter game. In this game, you get Poké Points when you sell monster materials. Or if you, like, as you acquire Zenny, you in turn acquire points, like Kokoto points. Did I say Poké Points? I hope I didn't say Poké Points. That would be a pretty funny habit to be in. But yeah, they're Kokoto Points, I believe, in this game. This is the honey box. Do you know what you just saw? So let's take Freedom Unite for example, a game that so many people return to or visit for the first time and think it's just this primitive, janky, awful Monster Hunter game. Well, in Freedom Unite, when you gather at the honey box, you gather once and then it opens a box with the amount of honey you gathered automatically. In this game, no, you have to gather individually each bit of honey. And you're going to see something really funny, because I regret to announce that the maximum number of honey you can acquire is sitting at about 3 to 4. This has been a very lucky gathering session, because I managed to get a grand total of 4 honey. Now, that is unusual, because thrown into the mix are insect husks. You are more often than not collecting insect husks rather than honey. Keeping in mind my honey box is fully upgraded, you are gathering individually for like each individual piece of honey. And then, as well as that, you're probably not going to get as many as 4. And I will mention, sometimes you can only gather 3 times. 4 times is the maximum. Oftentimes you're only able to gather 3 times, and then on top of that, you've got insect husks thrown into the mix, which means that you could just as easily walk away from this honey gathering area, this honey box, with like 1 or 2 honey at the end of a quest. Pretty crazy, right? Well, that's how it works. These are the field rows. I mean, they're pretty normal. You plant the seed and then you harvest it over time. So this is the bug tree. You use the hammer and you have to time it properly. The timing for the golden cat hammer in this game is a complete fucking joke. It was actually pretty reasonable in Freedom Unite. In this game, ugh, it's sickening. Over here you can cast the net, or shoot the net to, it's like the casting net or whatever the hell. But I want to know how you have managed with such little box space. I had no idea it was that bad. Also, hello Lurpy, I forgot to say hello. How I've managed with so little box space is beyond me. You do whatever you need to, honestly. It's painful. I have to tell you, the only reason why I've been able to manage is because it's just one aspect to so many... It's one issue out of so many issues that you have to deal with in Monster Hunter Freedom, or in first generation in general. When you come into first generation Monster Hunter as a second gen player, the experience, I mean, it's even worse if you're a third, fourth, or fifth gen player. If you're a fifth gen player coming into first generation, I'm so sorry. But if you're a second gen player like me, the entire experience is like being physically abused and just finding it within yourself to make do with the situation. Like, just try to achieve something, try to develop a resistance to it, an insensitivity to it, and you just push forward. It's an absolutely relentless experience, because I could sit here for hours just talking about all the ins and outs of this game, and how fucking weird it is, and how awful it is generally. I mean, it is just designed to break you as a person. It really, really is. And people who started in first generation probably think I'm being super dramatic. But if you're like me and you started in second gen or even third gen, you're going to come onto this game and you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about. Because it will break you for a while. So here we go. Again, we are collecting individual mushrooms here. Mostly nitrous shrooms by the looks of it. Only nitrous shrooms by the looks of it. And, yeah, what good fun, right? Now in this game, or rather in this setup, in this scenario, I'm actually able to speed up my game, like so, because I'm emulating. So gathering this stuff isn't as painful for me. But if you're playing on a PSP, you're just gathering this stuff one at a time. And yes, it's painful. It's fucking painful. This is the most ridiculous system in the world, ladies and gentlemen. This system here is the... Well, you're probably familiar with it if you've played Freedom Unite. You can give this cat a bomb, he will take it into the tunnel, and he will get you ore after exploding it, I guess. Because, you know, exploding the tunnel inside is sort of a mining process, and then you can get mineable materials that way. But in Freedom Unite, there's one tunnel. In this game, there's 3 tunnels. If you're wondering what relevance that has, there's almost no relevance. Because the different tunnels, it's totally random, like, it's just, they've just given you 3 tunnels because why not? There's no reason for there to be 3 tunnels. So, that's the situation. Here's a mining point. There is also a mining point here. And 2 more over here, I believe. Or is there only 1? There's only 1. So those are your mining points here. This is the best one, just here. You can get some pretty good stuff there. If second gen broke you, Vernon, I don't even know what to tell you. Because this, I have said this a number of times, and it's going to sound like I'm being dramatic, or, you know, you're not going to fully take on board what I'm saying right now. But try. First generation Monster Hunter makes second generation feel very, very polished and smooth, and just generally amazing. I'm dead fucking serious. If your only experience with classic Monster Hunter is second generation, and your perception of it is that it's very rough around the edges, very gritty, very punishing, and, I guess, unrelenting in certain regards, it's in a completely different dimension to what I'm playing right here. Completely different dimension. So, yeah, hopefully I'll be able to demonstrate some of that in this video, but it's pretty full on. So, yes, you can get some pretty good mineable materials there. Again, I'm just making do with all I've got. Again, You are fully reliant on bag space, and you get 2 pages, not 3. You get 3 pages in the other games, 4 if you include the field pouch. In this game you get 2, and you are fully reliant on those 2 pages. Great. So let's say I want to go to the farm and gather at all of these nodes. Whether it be the mining nodes, the field rows, the bug tree, the insect thickets, which are just over here. You can gather insects at these insect thickets, which by the way are almost impossible to determine, or rather distinguish between. There is one here, and one here. 3. And there are no defined lines between them. If you wanted to go into the farm and gather at all of these, you'd have to make like 3 trips, because you can't fit it all into your inventory. You just can't. So that's the experience there of farming. It's fucking painful. I will try to use the tree here. Now, here's the funny thing about the tree with the gold cat hammer. In Freedom Unite, if you timed it properly, you would succeed. In this game, if you time it properly, you still fail, because the window is so fucking ridiculously small, and it seems to change if you... Okay, I'm going to show you something. I'm just not even going to try this time around. I'll try next time around. Okay, I was a little bit off there. But that's fine. And then you have to sit there and wait. You can't skip any of this. This cannot be skipped. You have to sit here and wait for the cat to do this fucking shit. And then the cat... Like, who wants to sit here and watch this shit every fucking time? I certainly don't. Again, you've got 2 options. Receive item or finish receiving. Finish receiving is, I'm not taking anything else. Receive item puts it in your pouch. Okay. So, I received a bunch of this stuff. I don't want... Oh, yeah, we'll take this stuff. Yeah, okay. I don't want armor seed. Okay, you can see that if you go to finish receiving, there's no yes or no confirmation. If you accidentally go to finish receiving, you've just lost all the items, that's it. So, it's pretty fucking relentless there. Okay, so let's put all that away that we just collected. For the most part, I keep it organized in that I have 1 page in my pouch exclusively for, you know, non-usable items, stuff that I would collect along the way during the quest. And that's achieved because I usually have potions here. I've got mega potions sitting here. I've used all my potions, obviously, in the last quest. So, you know, it's just easier. You just organize it that way. Thankfully, there is an auto-sort feature. Of course, there is no box in the farm. As I said, there is no interacting with... This is your only box, that's it. There is no box in the online guild hub. There is no box in the farm. You've got 1 box, and you cannot interact with it except to physically walk to it here and put things in and take things out. And that is the situation. Shockingly, in spite of all this, we do have armor sets. We do have armor sets. You can see I've got 1 armor set here. I've been very focused on making weapons, and I'm just keeping this armor set here. You can see I've got 2 skills on it. Looks pretty bad, right? Well, that's about what you can expect to have in first generation. With some full armor sets, you can get as many as 4 skills, but if you're making a mixed armor set, 2 skills is about what you should aim for. Auto Tracker and Sharpness +1 is very good. If you think Auto Tracker is a bit of a meme, maybe like, haha, yeah, Auto Tracker. This is first generation, ladies and gentlemen. You want fucking Auto Tracker or lots of paintballs, because the monsters and the things that they do are beyond all reckoning. I can tell you that much. They do some of the dumbest fucking shit you could imagine. And being able to know where they are at any given time doesn't really mitigate all the pain. It doesn't make it totally endurable. However, it does make a big difference, so... Just for getting my character built up, this is a great set to go with. So that's what I have at this stage. And also, here's another thing to mention. There are so many things to talk about here that are different, that I almost don't even know where to start. I guess I've started already, but it's difficult to have a linear, I suppose, presentation of all the differences, especially if you're sitting here live. If you actually did a video talking about it, then sure, but live, it's kind of difficult to do. But see how this looks like it's all high rank materials, or rather high rank armor pieces. If you're familiar with Freedom Unite, this would look like high rank. The line drawn between high rank and G rank in first generation is very different to the line drawn between high rank and G rank in second generation. In second generation, they had clearly defined low rank, clearly defined high rank, clearly defined G rank. In this game, low rank isn't really anything. Low rank is you receive high rank materials in low rank, but less of them, and the monsters have less health, which means there is really no low rank. Everything is based on rarity in terms of armor pieces, and for quests, it's more based on star level than hunter rank. Hunter ranks do exist, but it's confusing if you go based on hunter ranks. It makes more sense if you go based on star level. So, yeah, my hunter rank is actually the highest hunter rank in the game, which is, I believe, 5? Yeah, hunter rank 5. So, you know, it's confusing stuff. But, yeah. The reason why this looks like high rank is because there is no specific low rank stuff. You've got the same armor for low rank and high rank, which to us would be low rank, and then when you get to G rank, you get what we identify as high rank armor. Same with weapons. The highest rarity is this one. It is rarity 7, which we would also identify as a high rank rarity. So it all comes down to the fact that they didn't have a clearly defined low rank in first generation Monster Hunter. Monoblos is also in this game, of course, and he's an asshole, but Diablos is a bit more of an asshole. Okay, let's go to the feline kitchen. Fuck me dead. You know the feline kitchen from second generation and how it wasn't really that clear? Well, I don't really know what to tell you other than it's a lot worse in this game. You cannot skip the eating animation, by the way. Sit down here, I'm going to eat the food that will give me 150 on both health and stamina. It is blessed wine or blessed wine and royal cheese. And we're going to eat that for 400. I cannot skip what you're about to see. You have to watch this every time. The solution that I pose is speeding up the game. But if you're playing on a PSP, you're just going to have to sit here and watch this. And then he eats it. You know, it's like 30 seconds of time wasting, maybe 20 seconds, but you don't want to be sitting there for 15-20 seconds when you could just otherwise skip it. And they even have the balls to make you stand there doing nothing for an extra 2 seconds after receiving your food skills. It's fucking unbelievable. Like, who has the time? I certainly don't. Because people had more time on their hands in Japan in 2005. Well, I suppose you could say 2004. But, anyway, it's fucking miserable stuff. Now, what am I doing with myself? I wanted to get some potions, so I'll probably do that. I don't know if my woman here is selling me potions. I don't think she is. Now, there is a trader. There is another guy who sells stuff, but he doesn't appear immediately. He will always appear. He's not someone who sometimes comes and sometimes doesn't. You just have to fucking wait for him. You know why? Because he's walking through the frickin' town. This is him here. He does sell potions. Now, you can buy potions at any time in the guild hall. That's fine. But, yeah, this guy's a bit of a weirdo. You can get Psycho Serums here. Normally, I would buy a shitload of Psycho Serums and put them in the box, but in this game, I cannot do that, because I have no fucking box space. So, yeah, I pretty much just keep all my Psycho Serums on hand. I have 3 in the box, shockingly. But, yeah, I think that's because Psycho Serums can only be stacked up to 3. Let me check that. Can you believe Psycho Serums can only be stacked up to 3 in the box? I'm pretty sure that's what's happening. Yeah, check that out. 3 Psycho Serums, and then you have to make a new stack. Who decided that? I've got no fucking idea. But, well, obviously Capcom, but same with nutrients. You can see if I want to save this stuff for Mega Potion, or excuse me, Max Potion creation, well, tough fucking shit. That's not happening, because you're only able to hold a small amount, until you've just run out of space. See this? Ancient Stone. This is the same, if you're familiar with how this works in Monster Hunter Freedom Unite or Freedom 2, you will know how these work. These are your Rush Shards and Ancient Shards. How they work is you take them with you back to the village. You don't appraise them at the end of a quest. You rather treat them as actual items that must be appraised through the blacksmith. And unfortunately, in a game like this, where you have like no fucking storage space at all, you can't amass many of these. Now, there is an exploit that allows you to amass a lot of them, and then, I don't know, you do save loading or something on them, and then that's how that works. I believe that the rotation is based on the quests that you depart on. So let's say you have 5 Ancient Stones. You appraise all 5, you don't like any of them, do 5 quests, and then you'll have 5 new, I guess, dice rolls on what you receive. So you can't really do that in this game because guess what? They don't fucking stack. They don't stack. None of these stack at all. They are individual items that take up one whole fucking slot in this box that has no space. So have fun doing that. You want to gather all of these tickets that you just amass as you hunt more and more? Well, precious storage space, do you need these tickets? Sometimes you have to make that decision. This game forces you to decide, do I need this? If not, I have to remove it so that I can actually have a space in my box. I'm actually going to remove these because that's a waste of space. So, what should really concern you is the fact that I haven't even played through as much of this game as I want to. There are still parts of this game, there are monsters that I have yet to fight. I haven't fought Fatalist properly in this game. You know how many drops Fatalist has? I'll show you how many slots of box space I have left. I have 3. I haven't even killed Fatalist before. Well, what if I want to carve Fatalist? You know what I mean? Where am I going to put this shit? I have nowhere to put it. I just have to remove stuff, I guess. Like bone husks. It's just a miserable fucking circumstance. Anyway. Now, check out these guys. They're not even marked. Who the fuck are they? Well, guess what? This guy is the guy you buy armor and weapons from. This is the guy that you craft stuff with. Check out the weapon craft screen. Okay, so we've got it's all on one fucking thing. One thing. You don't have it split into categories. You've got one window with all of the stuff you can possibly craft. Now, it starts off pretty sensibly. You've got greatswords, yeah, you got hammers, okay. Lances, yeah, sword and shield, dual blades. And then we've got guns, awesome. And then we're back to greatswords. And then we're back in here, and then we're back to fucking bow guns again. But here we've got a heavy bow gun before the light bow gun, and it's just... ugh. It's a mess. And it's not as well designed as you might think. Like, you're probably thinking, okay, it is in some kind of order, it's just a different order to what we're used to, but it's still not that clear. It's very weird, just overall. I think this fin blade is something that I want, but maybe I've started making it. No, I haven't started making it yet. Oh well. I think Valhalla is... oh, I've fully upgraded that. That's not a very good weapon. It's alright. Did the trick at the time, but... this is the best sword and shield in the game for raw damage, by the way. One thing to note is that in this game, sword and shield is your strongest weapon type. The reason why sword and shield is so incredibly low damage in second generation Monster Hunter is because it was so strong in first generation. They decided that they had to completely neuter sword and shield in those games, so yeah. Enjoy it while you can here in first generation. It's going to feel like shit because all weapon types feel like shit in first generation, but that's just how it is. I've taken some time to talk about this game, so I think I might go and see what's happening in the online hall. Okay, So I don't really know what people are doing. I don't know if they're hunting. I think, well, it looks like they're at the end of a quest, almost. I think there are... Oh, we've got a few people here. You can see that the way halls are done here are a little different. Quite a bit different. I'm going to let them know that I want to hunt with them. I don't know what they're actually doing. I'm hoping it's G rank, whatever it is. What have we got? Looks like G rank to me. We've got Basarios. Okay, I'm happy with Basarios. I'm just going to let them know. Well, I suppose I should show you the chat. I'll be joining for Basarios. And feels okay face. So, like you would expect, it is necessary to go manually to your room and change your equipment. You can't actually change equipment while you are there in the online session. So I'm doing that now. I've already eaten, fortunately. I will change to... do I have anything water-based that would be nice to use? I do have the King Lobster Hammer. Let's use that. Now let's talk about hammers briefly. There is no such thing as KOing monsters in this game. So, therefore, you'll have to understand that the hammer doesn't therefore KO monsters. So it's a little different to what you might understand the hammer to work like. It's very different. I don't know if there's a free slot with this quest. I hope so. I'll join for now. If I'm told to fuck off, then I will. But I'm hoping that I won't have to fuck off. Oh, it's looking like... Did I kick... Maybe Decker was going to play. I actually don't know. I've sort of made an appearance uninvited, but the difference between me and some other people that you would come across in Hunsterverse is that I'm prepared to leave, and I'm also aware of the fact that maybe I'm taking someone's spot. I mean, he could be nice and just let me play, I don't know, but 'cause he's usually pretty easy. I mean, I said that I was going to join if there was a free slot, so they can't really take issue with me. I'm being pretty flexible here. These aren't the only people that I can hunt with. There are some Spanish guys. There are 2 Spanish guys that are playing at G rank level as well. They just actually posted a screenshot of their hunt just above. You can see that they... Well, it seems that they've got a group of 4, so maybe not. But, yeah, here's hoping I can actually get into a hunt. That's all I can say. Hey, Jenny. How am I playing this? Of course it's only for PSP. This is what emulation is about, Tron. So, yeah, there is no real reason to play a PSP game on a PSP anymore, because you can so easily emulate them and appreciate them a whole lot more than you would on a PSP, because you can play it on the big screen, you can play it with a controller, it's more comfortable, looks better, so there's no real reason to play on a PSP anymore. That's the way it works. Well, I'm not being told that Decker's playing, so just going to purchase 2 of these. That's usually what I do. Sometimes I end up having to remove them anyway, but 3 Mega Potions is perfectly fine. This is a G-rank Basarios. Let's go. So in this game, as you can see, you can have as many as 10 people in a hub at the same time. This is the case in all of the first generation games. However, you can't see people in the hall unless they have joined up to the same quest that you have. That's the way it works. So you can't actually see 10 people at one time, no matter what. Works a little different here. Quests take a little while to load in, but this is actually not too slow by the looks of it. Looks like I've got good connection to the players here. Here's another thing to mention. See how there is no health indicator, apart from the fact that I am losing health, that I'm actually being affected by the heat of this location. In later games, your health will actually flash a different color to show that you are under the negative effects of heat. In this game, doesn't happen. Now check this out. Even though I've had a cool drink, my character is still very, very hot. I just am no longer losing health. As well as that, you can see there is no status next to my name to say that I have a cool drink in effect. It's just completely like... The only way you can tell that you have had a cool drink is by the fact that you are not losing health. That's it. Now, imagine the same thing for cold areas, but the only way you can tell that you've had the drink is that you're not losing stamina, which happens normally anyway. It's so terrible. Now, this is the better scenario. It's really, really bad if you are drinking hot drinks. It's just a fucking mess. But that is the situation with cold and hot drinks. Again, every single aspect to this game that you take for granted, like every aspect of this series that you take for granted, started somewhere. And this is where it started, and it was a fucking mess. I can tell you that much. It was a fucking mess. And this is the last of the first generation games. So you can imagine that, oh god, who's hosting? Roughsell? He's probably got a fucking phone connection, this guy. Now you can see that Basarius is running into these exploding rocks. Those do hurt him. In fact, they do quite considerable damage. So I've actually, on a number of occasions, seen Basarius just kill himself with those things. Roughsell is going heavy bowgun. You can see that there is no differentiating icon for your gun, depending on whether or not it's light or bowgun. Light or bowgun? Whether it's light bowgun or heavy bowgun is what I should say. They've just got a light bowgun icon there, or what we would identify as a light bowgun icon. But that's not the only problem they've got with icons in this game. In this game, Dual Blades has a sword and shield icon. And longsword isn't even a different weapon type at all, it's just Greatsword. So, that's the situation. I'm going to try and go for golf swings as much as I can here. Oh great, fucking pellet. Are you fucking kidding? Are you having a laugh, mate? You've got a full G-rank team here, and you're going to go and pellet this fucking monster. The only reason why you would pellet is if you were lacking in damage somehow. You are not lacking in damage, my friend. This is not a difficult hunt. Alright, so in this game you really, really need to commit to triple pound. Really, really need to commit. But the golf swing has a slightly different animation. Check this out. See how your character sort of snaps into a different animation, and it's a very heavy sort of golf swing. You'll also notice that hit lag is very heavy in this game, in the sense that when you make contact with a monster, especially with a damaging attack, the game almost freezes for a moment to really give you a strong sense of impact. So, yeah, that's what you've got here. Again, gonna go for a golf swing. If you do hear me mashing my buttons more than usual, it's because this game has really, really terrible input detection. So when you press a button, more often than not, the game will just not even recognize that you've pressed the fucking button. Because this is Monster Hunter Freedom. This is a terrible PSP port of Monster Hunter G. Managed to get that whole thing out. Fortunately, we do not have Basarius in a good position right here. This is very awkward. Now, there is every chance that we'll actually be hunting a few of this monster, I regret to say, because in this game, you're going to be grinding for materials more than in any other Monster Hunter game. The only Monster Hunter game where you're going to be grinding for materials as much as this one is Frontier. And that's no longer really a game, so it's a thing of the past now, because the servers have shut down. But here's another thing to take note of. If you ever go close to a wall, rest in peace your camera. Your camera has now died, and you need to try and revive it, because your camera is no longer in your control. So check this out. I'm going up against a wall right now, and the camera just... It's basically trying to... It's wall recovery. It's auto wall recovery, and it barely works. And it's just terrible. I mean, the only way you can truly appreciate how bad it is if you're playing the game. because you can't appreciate it because you're not the one controlling the camera and then witnessing control being lost. If you experience what it's like to have camera control totally lost, when you go next to a wall, you'll know what I'm talking about. You will appreciate it fully. Stop with the fucking pellet, are you stupid? Who the fuck shoots pellet on Basarios? With a full G-rank team, what I believe to be a full G-rank team. Some of the dumbest fucking shit I've ever seen. It just goes to show that no matter what Monster Hunter game you play, at least on Hunsterverse, you're gonna deal with some dumb motherfuckers. I mean, imagine that. A hammer player too. Oh, goodness me. So, the best weapon types for Basarios really are hammer, gun, and sword and shield. You don't want to be using Greatsword. Greatsword is generally pretty sad. You can see this guy's going combo Greatsword, or this girl, Jasmine. And that's exactly how you play Greatsword in this game. I will demonstrate a bit of Greatsword. I demonstrated it, of course, in my whatever it was, Doomlink's Random Hunts Part 85 recording, but I will of course demonstrate it here in this recording. One thing you will notice is that there are many, many more small monsters in this game in every single area that you confront a monster in. I don't know how many Vespoids we've got here. Probably only 3, but I think some of them have been killed. You could, for example, deal with as many as 6 Vespoids in one area, plus a large monster. It basically makes it almost impossible to gun unless your teammates actually take the time to kill the small monsters for you. Because what will happen is you will find a place to stop, and you think you've got the time. You might even have as much as 5 to 10 seconds to shoot, right? Well, oftentimes you don't in this game. Oftentimes you will come to a stop, aim down your sights, and by the time you've actually aimed at the monster, you've already been hit by a small monster, because there are just so many of them around. And because there are so many of them around, there's a good chance that at least one of them has its sight set on you. So, it's really a nasty situation in that regard. Okay, so I took all of that. I'm not taking these husks, that is not happening. You can see it goes straight to my pouch. There is no box option. If you accidentally go to that last option at the end of a quest, you have lost all your items, that's it. Or all of your rewards, I should say. That's the end of it. So it's pretty painful, because if you do have the muscle memory of going to the second option out of 3, which is exactly the muscle memory that I had coming into this game for the first time, because usually your options are take it to your pouch, like remove it from the rewards box and put it in your pouch. Option 2 is send to box, and then third option is sell items and leave. Now, second option in this game is not sell items and leave, it's leave. It's just leave. That's it, and there's no yes or no confirmation. If you accidentally, out of muscle memory, go to option 2 because you're used to it being send to box, in this game, you will just leave. You won't take anything. You can't sell the items, you will not take them, certainly if you go to the second option. You will just leave, and you'll have no rewards. So, you'll only have what you carved, and that's assuming you killed and you didn't capture. In this game, also, capturing is only done in capture quests, because tranks, to my understanding, are supply items only. They are not items that you can craft outside of a quest. So you can trap monsters, that's fine. It doesn't have to be a capture quest to trap a monster. But because tranks are supply items only, unless it's a capture quest or you just happen to receive tranks during the quest at some point, you cannot capture a monster. So that's how that works. And capturing is also really fucking weird in this game. Because what you can do with capturing here, you don't have to do it this way, but it is one way to do it. What you do is you throw tranks at the monster before it's in the trap. I believe 2 tranks thrown at the monster when it's not in a trap will actually put it to sleep. And then you can put a trap underneath the monster while it's asleep, and then 1 more trank while in the trap will capture it. You don't have to do it that way, you can just throw 2 tranks while it's in the trap and it will capture as normal. The point is that if you want to guarantee a successful capture, in this game you can put the monster to sleep with tranks prior to actually capturing. Which makes sense, right? Because why would it be that Tranquilizer would have no effect on a monster unless it couldn't physically move? Doesn't make much sense, right? Well, it makes more sense in this game, in the sense that you can tranquilize a monster without it being in a trap. It's very weird, because again, that's a fundamental aspect to Monster Hunter that we're very used to. The fact that you can only make use of tranks inside of a trap. Well, in this game, yes, it's the same in the sense that you can't capture the monster unless it's trapped, but you can still put them to sleep with tranks. Pretty crazy. Pretty weird. I'm just gonna fucking speed up the game. I'm sorry, I can't fucking sit through that shit. I just want to see what people are doing here. I don't want to miss out on the next quest. Because you never know, they could just fucking depart without you. But anyway. Let's see what we've got for the next one. Hopefully it's not Basarios again. It probably is, but we will find out. These people, I don't think they're really talking to me, so I'm worried that if I don't... What have we got here? Howl of the Heaven and Earth. This is... Oh no. I don't know what this is. Shit, I don't know what this quest is. Oh, fuck. And they're not communicating, so I couldn't... Okay, so what this means... You better not fucking depart without me, you fools. Okay, so I'm going to speed up just to ensure that I can actually change equipment as soon as possible. I'm going Shining Wyvern Blade, that is raw damage, because I don't know what this quest involves. Whatever it's going to be bloody unpleasant. So, I'm really not looking forward to this. We'll see what we can do. Okay, I'm back. Okay. We are joining this quest, hopefully not being left behind. There we go. Howl of Heaven and Earth. Of course, it would be really nice to know what the monsters are, but I guess that's not important information. You just guess, you know. And it is true. Did you know some species in this game have separate quests that are not... Okay, so you are not told if a monster is a subspecies in this game, because the way they treated it is that it was just a monster that you happened to find that was of a different species to the typical one, you know, sort of a rare species. However, if you do specifically need the subspecies materials, it helps to actually know that you're going to hunt the subspecies, right? Well, in this game, you imagine you have 3 quests for the same monster visually on the screen. It says Kezu, Kezu, Kezu. Which one's the red Kezu? It doesn't tell you. So, yeah. You're going to guess Rathalos and Raytheon. That would be called Wyverns of the Land and Sky. Vernon, that usually has the same name in all cases, unless this is, oh, this might just be regular Rathalos and Raytheon. Which is confusing as hell, because sometimes Wyverns of the Land and Sky actually refers to regular Raytheon and Rathalos, and Gold Raytheon and Rathalos. I don't know what the fuck this is going to be, but we're going to find out. If this quest is... What if this is the Monster Hunter G quest? Excuse me, the Monster Hunter Portable quest. The Monster Hunter Portable quest. So, okay. Freedom does not have DLC quests. This is not the quest, but that's good, actually, because that would be fucking terrible. I guess we're hunting Raytheon first. You were right, Vernon, you were right, but I have a feeling that this might actually be DLC. Unique to... No, if this were Monster Hunter Portable DLC, I wouldn't be able to do it, because only people playing the US version of Monster Hunter Freedom can actually play Monster Hunter Portable DLC. Or Monster Hunter Portable, that is. If they're playing either the Japanese version or the US version, they can do it, but if you're playing the European version, you cannot. I'm playing the European version. So this must just be a quest that is available. But you know what, this is okay. I'm happy to do raw damage. Did you know that the primary weakness of Rathalos in this game is ice? And did you know that there are no ice weapons in this game? If you want to shoot ice, or rather, if you want to deal ice damage, you have to shoot it. That's the only way you can deal ice damage in this game. You've got freeze ammunition, and that's it. There are no ice element weapons in this game. It's a real shame. And I believe that there is freeze ammo. I can't be 100% sure of that, but that's what I believe to be the case. I'm focused on Raytheon right now. I'll let them deal with Rathalos, I guess. I believe game volume is fine. Should be. Yeah, that looks fine to me. Nice and loud. So you can listen to the sounds of... I don't know what music's playing right now. It may very well be the Fatalist Theme. Usually they play the Fatalist Theme in these quests. It's a bit over the top, but... yeah. I guess they decided that they hadn't yet decided that it was unique to Fatalist, I suppose. I think the idea of the theme is actually supposed to be a special Flying Wyvern quest. So, if you deal with Fatalist, you will know that really Fatalist is very similar to Rathalos in how he moves. He's just an Elder Dragon version of Fatalist that looks a little different, so he's sort of treated along the same lines. That is a dead Wraithian. So for example, Rathalos always flies vertically into the air, and then to avoid him you stand by his shadow. Same thing with the Fatalist. Fatalist will randomly fly in the air, and then to stay safe you stand in his shadow. So, in other words, you've got the fact that the Fatalist theme is really just another version of the Forest and Hills theme, and then you've also got the fact that it's a similar hunt to Rathalos, and then you've also got the fact that if you're doing a quest like this with double Rathalos and Wraithian, whether it's regular or gold and silver, in the arena, you've got that theme playing. So it's not really a Fatalist theme. Also, if you're doing double Kidding, that theme also plays. And that carried over into second generation, in fact. So in second generation, to my understanding, the only time you would hear the Fatalist theme is during a Fatalist hunt and during double kill. Whereas in this game you've got a few more scenarios in which that theme would play. And do correct me if I'm wrong, maybe that theme's not playing currently, but I think it is. It's my understanding that it would be. Oh god, being upswung, but it's okay. I do not blame people for upswinging in this game, for the reason that... look, the two tails are next to each other. It's almost romantic. In a rather morbid way. I got a plate! Fucking hell. That's not a minor thing. That's very good, actually. I'm very happy to see that. Very happy to have a plate. What I really need is a gold Wraithian plate, actually. But that's okay. I still feel like I've achieved something. What was I saying? Well, shit, there goes my wine again. That's actually really bad. Got wine everywhere. I hate this particular dispenser. Because it's too high pressure. It's higher pressure than anything that I have encountered in the past. So it just creates a fucking mess. What? Okay. Thanks for the advertisement, Nathi Kira. Anyway, so... not an advertisement of me, but rather of another person entirely. I didn't get to carve Rathalos there because I was too busy dealing with the fact that I'd spilt wine everywhere. But anyway, what was I saying? Completely forgot what I was talking about because I had a wine spillage. But, oh fucking hell, this business. Okay, so what do I want to remove? Shit. This is what happens when you do a double quest. You have to really, really deal with space issues. Do I really want spikes? I think I do. I'm always putting away my hot and cool drinks, I think you'll find. Always. Okay, no, I'm not putting away mega pickaxes, those are expensive. Okay, I'll live without Monster Bone Plus. Okay, let's try to clean this wine up again. Well, that's what I was... well, I think I'd finished that line of discussion. The fact that this frickin' wine dispenser is just higher pressure than what I'm used to. And so it just splashes out at so fucking high pressure. It's bloody frustrating. Anyway. So, I'm glad that we're doing different quests each time, or what I can identify to be different quests each time. We might return to the same quests, I really don't know, but at the very least we're not just doing Basarios over and over again, because that would be really boring. I'm not going to do much Monster Hunter Freedom after this recording, because I need to take the time to build my character up further. Usually when I record a Monster Hunter game, I have a very well built up character so that I can give you guys a very varied viewing experience. Whereas here, I just don't have that much to use. My fully upgraded weapons are Devil Slicer, King Lobster Hammer, Deadly Battle Axe, Kirin Bolt Indora, the Golden Falchion, and the Guild Knight Sabers. Now, that's not too bad. That's actually kind of decent, but it's definitely nowhere near as... It's nowhere near what I normally would have for a character that I would record multiplayer hunts with. So there you go. I think it's very odd to come into someone else's stream and just... and probably not even contribute anything else other than just mentioning some other streamer that also plays Monster Hunter. And then that's it. You know, doesn't even say hello, doesn't even communicate in any way except to just plug some other Twitch streamer, which is just... it's kind of bad manners, you know. And the guy barely speaks English as well. Whoever advertised that person. Anyway. No, we don't want to sort that right now. I will check to see what the next quest is. I'm not even bothering to go to the farm, as you can tell. I probably should. I probably need to get some more honey, but I'm not really taking the time to do that. What's being said in the chat? Nothing really. I will mention the chat is quiet. Well, it's a quiet chat, I will say. It's a very laid-back, simple chat. Not too much going on. Pink and Azure? Yeah, sure. I will change to Thunder, probably. Is Thunder the best choice? I think it is, yes. Let's go Thunder, and I can give you guys a Greatsword demonstration. I need to be quick with these people, because I don't know if they're going to wait for me or not. I can fucking hope so, but I can't guarantee it. So therefore, I have to be nice and quick if I can. Because I believe they're talking in another channel, in whatever language they speak. So let's be nice and quick if we can. Alright. Aha, I've just been given a guild card. I will send my guild card as well. I'll give to these three, because I don't think any of them have my guild card. I don't think I've played with them before. And because none of them are readied up, they can all accept my card. So there you go. Guild cards in this game are very weird as well, by the way, in terms of how you access them. There is very limited information on them, and accessing them is awkward. I will show you after this quest if I remember, because I would like to be ready to play with these guys. I shouldn't even... oh, fucking hell. I shouldn't have taken those cool drinks and hot drinks, because I'm just going to remove them from my inventory anyway to be able to hold all the materials that I get from this quest. Which is really annoying, but whatever. If it's a single monster quest, I generally wouldn't have to swap out my cool and hot drinks, but if it's a double quest, then certainly. Because again, I've got all these carves, and I've also got items from, or materials from 2 different monsters, so it really does add up, so that's the situation. Not sure what Jasmine's doing. I hope you enjoy the hub music. I very much enjoy it. Oh, it seems that there's a... oh, that's funny. The person in this room named Vincent is actually not the Vincent that we all know. There is a person who is a regular player on Freedom 1 named Vincent, but this is someone else, apparently. Not sure. I mean, they're probably having a conversation in another channel, but I don't know. What did you come across, Vernon? Do tell. You found a singer on YouTube that could be my twin, and he's really good. Well, I sing as well, but I do wonder if we have the same vocal range. I'm not sure what Jasmine's up to. But yeah, most people who, I guess, take vocalizing seriously in a setup like this where, you know, obviously I'm quite serious about vocal narration, generally those people can sing as well, because it's all in the same vein, it's control of the voice. But, what do you want, Jasmine? Are you pinging me? What? What are you talking about? What is going on? I've joined... No, hold on. What is happening? I'm so confused. I'm so confused. Okay, let me show you what I'm confused by. I've just been pinged. Should I wait for one person or just us? One more. We've got 4 people, don't we? Don't we have 4 people? This should all... We're all part of the same... I don't understand. What are you talking about? And who is... Oh, he probably can't see the other people. Oh, he can't see the other people. Yeah, that's a little confusing. Okay, so that's why that happens. So Ruku, which is an interesting name, was not able to see the other people. That's why we hadn't departed. So they're going to have to leave and rejoin, so that the host can connect to them properly. Because if they are invisible, oftentimes that means the host and those players are not actually properly connected, so therefore disconnects can occur when the quest starts. But, yeah. So that's why that was happening. I really wasn't sure. Dan Vask, or... I'm assuming that's how you would say his name. I suppose I can check him on my phone, because my setup at the moment is not really appropriate for checking YouTube, but we'll see if he... I'm interested to see if he's my doppelganger, or my twin, as you say. What have we got? I've never found someone who looks very similar to me in life. I don't know if that guy's going to return. The guy who left, who was previously in the room. Alright, let's see what we've got here. Oh, he looks... Oh, he does look a bit like me, doesn't he? He's me, but with facial hair. Not in profile, but straight on, he does look a bit like me. It's interesting. I suppose if I grew facial hair, we would look very similar. Because we both have sort of rounded faces. I mean, we do have like a jawline, like a fairly defined jawline, but not as... You can get a more defined jawline than what we have, in other words. This is a bit more rounded. But we have sort of a... What is going on with the group? You people are frickin'... I'm not sure what's happening. This is a little annoying, but it's not like I sing professionally, Vernon, but I'm musically inclined, so... I don't care what anyone tells you, it's easier to sing than to play an instrument. Because you can just walk up to a microphone and sing well without really having to train the voice. Yes, training the voice is important, but it's not the same as playing an instrument. Like, I don't care who you are, you can't walk up to a guitar and play a good song. You need to learn it. Singing is just something that you can... I suppose because at the end of the day, it's not like we use guitars to communicate with people. We do use the voice to communicate with people, so it is something that you use every day. So, but let's not confuse the matter. Talking and singing are two very different things. But because they use different parts of the throat if you are singing properly. But yeah, there you go. Okay. So this is going to be an opportunity for me to demonstrate the Greatsword, which visually looks like a longsword here. Longswords are only visual in this game. They are not a different weapon type, as you will soon see. But the way I'll be using Greatsword here is the only way to use Greatsword, because you cannot charge it in this game. That was really annoying that you managed to get yourself in position there, Raytheon. That was fucking annoying. Just managed to get me there. You can see that poison is the same in that your health bar doesn't change in colour, you just lose health. But at least there is a visual effect showing you that you are poisoned on your character. You rupture eardrums if you see. What I mean to say is that there is a talent involved. And that talent is something that doesn't necessarily need to be trained in the same way that you would have to learn an instrument. So while I'm musically inclined and don't really play instruments, I can sing because that's, you know, it's an instrument that I use every day, in a sense. Alright. So, it looks like we are going 2 versus, like 2 on 1, splitting into 2 groups. Which is fine, I suppose. I would rather fight the Pink Raytheon than the Azure Rattlers, to be completely honest. It is a very similar hunt to the one that I did just before, so you'll have to forgive me for that. But yeah, should be able to resist wind pressure there. Doing upswings here because that is very consistent with the terrible input detection of this game. For some reason, upswings are very, very responsive. There we go. At the moment I'm just aiming for the legs to hope for a knockdown. I'd like to get that tail. I'm the only one who can cut this thing, so I'm going to try. Here we go, I'm getting a good opportunity to do it too. There we go, there goes the tail. You can see the tail moves very weirdly in this game, which is unchanged in 2nd generation, by the way. There are certain visual aspects to 1st generation that really aren't very different from 2nd generation at all. The biggest changes in 2nd gen were mostly in terms of Monster Hunter formula. Oh, fuck off, I probably should have just shielded. But, oh well. Made the wrong decision in that moment. And I didn't intend to roll into it, by the way. I really was moving my analog stick differently, it's just my controller's broken, so do forgive that. Oh, that's not a good direction to roll in. Goodness me. Making all the wrong decisions today. Don't know why Rapsel insists on staying up there, but whatever makes him happy, I guess. Come on, follow it up! The only reason why I didn't follow up is because it refused to register my button press with triangle. It was just like, nah, you're not pressing that button right now, I don't care if you've pressed it 3 times. You never pressed it, Doomlink. That's the problem with this game. But anyway. Okay, I don't think she's going to last too much longer. We have been doing a lot of damage. I mean, our DPS has been quite high, so look out, Rapsel. I'm surprised he didn't get hit by that. That was a bit of a shock to me. But I guess that stub of a tail just couldn't reach him. Going to heal up. The best way to really experience the difficulty of 1st generation Monster Hunter, if you're not playing it yourself, is to watch a person go through the early part of the game. Up until, like, basically everything up until endgame. When you're at endgame, it's kind of normal. I mean, I'm not sitting here having an absolutely horrible time. But you will be having an absolutely horrible time if you're going through the game up until this point. That's why I really put the effort in to get to this point, because I knew that it wouldn't be awful forever. So, yeah, I've reached the point where it's no longer painful, in other words, which is great. By the way, purple sharpness does not exist in this game. That was first introduced in Freedom Unite, to my understanding. But yeah, this is not... I'm not going to be sitting here demonstrating how hard the game is, we'll put it that way, because I'm kind of used to it now. But yeah, if you do want to experience the difficulty of it without playing it yourself, watch someone play through, you know, the offline, or just making their way up to G rank, because you will witness everything that's wrong with this game, and you will feel it with the person, because it is an arduous experience. And it is really the greatest achievement in Monster Hunter for any Monster Hunter player, to just get to end game in any first generation game. I do plan to do this all over again, but in Monster Hunter G. I don't know when I will get around to doing that. Probably sometime after really completing this character. I've got a long way to go with this character, I will tell you. But yeah, once I've completed this character, I will make my way into Monster Hunter G, because there is a lot more content in Monster Hunter G. This game didn't include everything. And as well as that, Monster Hunter G has a city mode that is a location most people have never seen before. Similar to Mindguard in the sense that, you know, it's just something that never returned to the series in the future, and is almost not at all celebrated, so it's really good. And you can have your own house, and there are different levels to your house, just like you had in Try, and it was very good. Already out of space. What is that? Brainstem? Brainstems are pretty useful. I'm doing alright for space. Well, I guess I'm doing normal for space. I don't want Wyvern Claws, not interested. How about this stuff? Yeah, we'll remove the drinks. I can live with that. Always seems to happen. Always seems to happen. Alright. Yeah, after this it'll be mostly Freedom Unite. Basically, Freedom Unite, Portable Third, 3 Ultimate, and Generations Ultimate. I will try to do 4 Ultimate. If 4 Ultimate runs well while I'm live streaming, then I'll do it. But I'm worried that the emulation setup for 4 Ultimate is not stable enough for me to stream it. I think OBS would cause troubles. But if it is smooth, I mean, I would have to do some test streams, you know, some private test streams, to see if it works smoothly. If it does, then I will try to do a live stream setup with it. Because that would be good fun, wouldn't it? My only problem is that it would be 60 FPS, and not even Twitch can handle 60 FPS properly. It ends up looking like a garbled mess at 1080p, so... At least with first-person shooter games. Maybe it's a little better with Monster Hunter, but FPS games, God, it looks like shit on Twitch. And of course, I have never had fast enough internet to make it look good on YouTube. It has to be such an incredibly high video bitrate on YouTube for it to look good, so... Yeah. I'm not sure what our next hunt will be, but that was alright. It was good fun. I was able to demonstrate the Greatsword there. Dual Blades, I can talk about how that differs, because I may or may not use it. But the only way in which Dual Blades differ from, I guess, the later Monster Hunter games, we'll just specifically compare it to 2nd gen, because otherwise you get a little bit lost in all the changes that were made in 3rd generation. It's not really the point. But in this game, the only real difference with Dual Blades compared to 2nd gen is that if you're in demonized mode, and you get hit, or become incapacitated in some way, not fully, let's say you get knocked on your hands and knees, or something like that, you will still be consuming stamina with demonized mode. If you are flinched by a monster roar, and you're in demonized mode, you will still be consuming stamina. It doesn't... For some reason, they didn't code it properly to make it so that if you are flinched, you are no longer in demonized mode. They just keep you in demonized mode and you just keep losing stamina. It's really dumb. So, yeah. That's the way it is these days. Hunter Teostra. I regret to say, Jenny, that Teostra is a 2-DOS monster. This was prior to the arrival of Teostra, Kushala Daora, Chameleos. Those were the 3 Elder Dragons. Well, there were technically 4 Elder Dragons of 2-DOS. You had Lunastra as well. But, yeah, they were the big 4 of 2nd gen. They did not appear in 1st. Your only Elder Dragons in 1st generation are Fatalis and Lao Shan Lang. You do have an Elder Dragon level quest. Well, Kirin as well, excuse me. So you've got Kirin also. There is no Rajang, he is also a 2nd gen monster. So you've got those 3 Elder Dragons, plus an Elder Dragon level monster, which is Yan Garuga. He is treated as a basically Elder Dragon level monster. I don't know if I've got a quest for him here in the online. No, I don't believe so. I know that Fatalis is up here. He's a special quest, Legendary Black Dragon. But, I do have a Garuga quest in the village, and I was only able to repel him with a full G rank loadout, so he's pretty fucking insane. Howl of Heaven and Earth, again. Or Howl of Heaven and Earth. Let's do it. I'm sort of resigning myself to whatever they want to hunt, whether it's good for the stream or not. But yeah, if you look through the list of Monster Hunter G monsters or Monster Hunter Freedom monsters, whatever you prefer, you will notice that there really aren't that many to choose from. Freedom Unite really is the definitive classic Monster Hunter experience for the reason that it includes every single hunt that was in the game up until that point. It was a really significant game, just overall, but yeah. What would I like to use? I guess it would have to be this, wouldn't it? No, not Golden Falchion. Oh, I forgot to mention that I also had the Golden Falchion. I'd forgotten about that, yeah. So if I need good fire damage, I have that. Oh shit, I need to eat. What I'll do is I'll eat. Excuse the fact that I'm speeding up the game. I'm doing it just to make sure that I'm not keeping them waiting or anything like that, because they probably speed up the game as well. I'm pretty good at dealing with the speed of the game. Like, I'm good at moving normally, despite moving at fast speed. So, what have we got here? 3 honey and an insect husk. Well, there you go. So, I'm probably not going to bother with Mega Potions right now. We'll put honey away. Insect husk I'd love to discard. If we can, there we go. That should do just fine. And then just like that. I try not to, when recording, speed up the game, but this is an exception, I have to, because it's too fucking slow otherwise. It's way too fucking slow. The quest isn't up anymore. That's alright. I'm sure it will be back up soon. Unless they have had a change of plans. What do you mean you can't get the cheats to work in PPSSPP? I'm not sure why you want my assistance when it comes to that. What cheats are you trying to get to work? But, yeah, I'm not really going to help you with that. I'm not going to help you get banned in Hunsterverse or in whatever you're happening to use, or whatever you happen to be using. Why am I saying happening? I've got no idea. Whatever you happen to be using as your online service. I'm not going to help you to be banned there. There's no real point. But, don't know why a quest is being posted and then removed repeatedly. If it's something different to anything we've done before, then great. I would have to change my setup again, most likely, but I'm eager to do something a little different. Is anything being said in the chat? No, of course not. Again, they're probably talking in a different channel, probably a specific language channel. Yeah, I'll probably do maybe 2 more hunts and then that'll probably conclude this recording. 2 or 3. Really depends on how long they take. Pink and Azure, again. Well, that's kind of annoying, isn't it? I suppose I could use my Kid in Bolt Indora. Don't know if I should call it Indora or Indora. But, yeah, let's go and equip that, just so that we've got not Deadly Battle Axe. I hate that weapon. I used it too much. Okay, so this is just a little different to what I was using before. I would just like to keep this as varied as I can. For your entertainment, of course. Yeah, lots of Rathalos going on in this recording. Unfortunately, you got a bit of Basarius, but he's not very interesting, is he? To be honest, if you're familiar with the generations of Monster Hunter that came after this one, there isn't too much in the way of hunting that's going to entertain you. Because you've seen all these monsters and... yeah. That's how it is. Most of them work the same. Oh, Jaeger is playing with us. He's a bit of a... I don't like Jaeger, I'm just going to put that out there. He's not very friendly, he's not a friendly person, and if you do anything wrong, he'll call you out on it. But in a nasty way. In like a condescending way. Like, how could you possibly do this wrong? Like, we're all first-gen players. He's one of those people who basically exclusively plays first-gen. If he's not playing first-gen, he's playing second-gen, and even then, he's more first-gen than anything. So... and he doesn't really speak English, so you can't tell him to fuck off reasonably. Not that I would want to do that, I don't really want to introduce confrontation into the fairly... I guess, peaceful Freedom 1 chat, but he's not very pleasant. He's not a pleasant person. I specifically recall trying to get a room together for like 40 minutes, and he kept on checking to see if anyone else had joined, and every time he saw that there wasn't someone in there, he would like... he would sort of, how do I say? Oh god, what is happening today? Come on, guys. But yeah, every time he would see that no one had joined, he would find that funny. So for like 40 minutes, I mean, he could have played with me, but I think he didn't want to. Specifically didn't want to play with me. So... yeah, he just took delight in watching me struggle to get a room together for like 40 minutes to an hour. It might have even been as long as an hour. He's just not a nice guy. But, there you go. He's a good teammate, though. He's usually pretty well souped up for a hunt. Alright. Assuming this is the same quest, otherwise I'll have to probably change my equipment again. There you go, Howl of Heaven and Earth. So, no. Fucking, what are we doing? Can you people please make a fucking determination on what we're doing? Or a decision on what we're doing? Because I really am... stop selecting that. We don't want fire damage going up against them, that's not going to do anything. Okay, so we've got 150 health, just making sure. I feel like it's been so long since I last ate that I've basically forgotten whether or not I have eaten. But yes, I have eaten, and should be ready to join the quest. And hopefully bloody depart. This is what I meant by me not knowing just how many more quests I was going to do, because who knows how long these things will take. But yes, I don't need drinks here, so I'm just going to keep those slots open. Jaeger is using the Dragon Dual Blades, which is really only going to do anything against Raytheon, because Rathalos is not weak to Dragon at all. Raytheon, I believe, is weak to Dragon, although I don't know if it's a primary weakness, it could even be a secondary weakness. In the case of Rathalos, I think the primary is Ice, and maybe the secondary is... maybe even Water. I don't think... Thunder is in there somewhere, but Dragon is not a weakness, to my understanding. Or maybe it was Thunder that wasn't a weakness at all. Because the weaknesses for Rathalos beginning in 3rd generation were dragon and thunder. I believe one of those two elements is not even a weakness to any degree. Jasmine is really having connection problems. Fucking hell. I think Jasmine is Ruku, which is really annoying. I would love it if people just had the same fucking names in-game as they have on Discord. I mean, I wouldn't mind if this person wasn't just sitting there and doing nothing. No, I will not, Vernon. I will not be... I probably won't even watch them. I might watch them, but I'm not going to react to them because I think that should be reserved for people who really care about the outcome. I've reached a point now with Rise where I don't care about the outcome. I have it pre-ordered, I will be playing it on the day of release, and I'll be playing it a lot probably in the first week or two. Oh, for fuck's sake! What are we doing? How could we possibly be fucking around like this? They didn't depart without me, did they? Are you fucking kidding me? Look at this behavior. Look at this fucking complete lack of interest. That is... They literally... Or did they not depart with it? I don't know what's going on. Looks like Jaeger... I don't know. What the fuck is going on? It looked like they both departed without me, but then Jaeger left. I'm very confused by this. I'm happy to 3-man, of course, but if Jasmine can't see any of us, then I don't want to leave that person behind. But if they're completely unresponsive, then I guess we will 3-man, but you need to tell me. We need to communicate that. You can't just depart without me. Because then you're leaving not just Jasmine behind, but me behind as well, and that's not appropriate behavior. So, what's happening, guys? And I don't know if that was Jaeger leaving for my benefit. I can't imagine it. That's not really... That would be very out of character for him, so he may have just disconnected. But, I don't know. This is very weird. What is happening? Oh, maybe this was said. Was this said? No, it was not. I thought perhaps this had been said at some point, but it was not, clearly. Because, you know, if, let's imagine the person has disappeared for a while, it would help to know that they're gone. And not just sitting there and staring at the hub expecting people to join when we are actually here but invisible to them. Because that was the problem, like, previously. We were invisible to that person, so... Oh my god, this is annoying. But yeah, I feel pretty privileged to have gone live in this game and gotten pretty consistent hunts. I was able to talk about some aspects to the game. I mean, I was thinking of just discussing in a comprehensive manner every aspect to the game that I could that was different to what you might be familiar with, but that takes a long time, and I probably couldn't be bothered to do that. Attack of the Wraithing. Okay, well, let me let them know that I'm changing weapons. Just in case they don't know what CW means, because usually you would shorten that to CW, but... How many times have I changed weapons now? Seriously. Going back and forth because these people are just in a mess. I think definitely Jaeger just disconnected. He didn't leave for my benefit, because he would not do that. He just would not. Kid in Bolt Indoor. What do you mean by 3 then? Probably relates to something I said, but... I don't know. Oh, 3 weapon changes? Great. Patience helps, that's all I can tell you. I think we're departing as a group of 3 though. Let's do it. What is that outfit? I only just now noticed it, that's pretty funny. Let's just go. I don't think we've got a 4th. I'm ready. I'm ready to hunt in general. I think I've sat around long enough. That's one thing that you will have to be prepared for whenever I'm recording these older games. There's going to be some downtime. And that's just the way it has to be. Okay. So this is a single monster hunt, which is, by the way, very different to a double monster hunt. Here we go. So what I was going to say is that going out of my way to give you a comprehensive explanation as to every change from 2nd gen to 1st gen, what I should do instead is just let these things come. So a scenario eventuates in the game and then I talk about it. So this here, being a single monster hunt, will give me the opportunity to talk about how double monster hunts differ in 1st generation to later games. So something that is definitely the case in 1st generation, and is the case in all generations of Monster Hunter, is the fact that single monster hunts, the monster in the single hunt will have more health, whereas in the double hunt or triple hunt, you will have less. I really should have engaged her in Area 5, shouldn't I? That was really dumb. But anyway. The monster in the single hunt will of course have more health. In double hunts or triple hunts, you will experience a weaker monster health-wise. But in the case of 1st generation, and this is how it differs from future games, I'm just going to stand up here just to see if she lands. If she doesn't land, then I won't bother. Where is she? Is she up there? Yeah, she's up there. And then she's going to move again. The way single monster hunts versus double hunts in this game works is they actually deal more damage too. She's fucking flying backwards, this woman. This female dragon. Yeah, okay. How you going? You just flying around? I said in my random hunts video that when I get the opportunity to hunt monsters in their locales, you will see them do some weird fucking shit. They're walking around wondering where the monster is. I know where the monster is, but I'm not fucking going down there. Okay, I'll have to go down there. No, I shouldn't have done it. I shouldn't have done it. I know better than to do that. I know better than to do that. She's flying into the fucking wall. Look at her. I know better than to do this. Because they don't stay in this area. They fuck around. Alright, you gonna come down? But yeah, as I said, in that recording that I did in Doomlink's Random Hunts, you didn't get to see the monsters do really dumb shit. But the more I record this game, the more you will see monsters do some really, really dumb shit. Look at her. I can't fight you up there. She is tail flipping nothing up there. Look at her. Holy shit. Okay. I'll just wait for you, seriously. Yep. Flies in the air, lands back down. That's a moss swine in the camera. Look at her go. She is attacking me, but up there. You know what I mean? This is what I mean when I say monsters do really weird fucking shit. When you just record for long enough, and for instance, I think I only did 2 hunts in that random hunts video, and those 2 hunts just happened to be pretty normal. Whereas this, you can see, is, yeah, a problem. Keeping in mind, I waited for her to go down to the ground before coming down, because I knew that something like this was going to happen if I tried to engage her there. So what I did was, you can see this moss wine is fucking with my camera. Yeah. This is first generation Monster Hunter, ladies and gentlemen. If you think this is a one-off, it's really fucking not. This is just normal. Oh, well, I'm glad you've got a gun. Way to keep her there. Okay, well, if you're gonna play it like that, Raytheon, I'll fucking climb up to you. But yeah, Raytheon, Rathalos, all those monsters do some of the dumbest shit you can imagine. I swear to you, one time I had to chase a Rathalos. I think it was a silver Rathalos in the Forested Hills. I had to chase him from one area to another for about 10 minutes straight. 10 minutes straight. Oh, she's flying off. Okay, well that's alright. I'm already making my way up here, so I'll be able to head there. Oh, and she's going even higher. Oh my fucking god. Anyway, for 10 minutes straight, I was chasing a silver Rathalos in the Forested Hills. Oh shit, no! I didn't mean to do that. Well, fine. Here we go. Why am I doing this to myself? But yeah, I would go to the area that he would fly to, and by the time I would get there, he'd change areas. And he did that over and over and over again. Did you see that I literally climbed into solid object, and then just walked through solid object to get up to the higher level? Welcome to first gen. But yeah. That's the kind of thing you want to get on camera. Just chasing a monster for 10 minutes straight. Unable to engage it because it won't stop leaving the area that it goes to. That's what I experienced with Silver Rathalos in this fucking area. So what you're seeing here with Raytheon, what I'm trying to get across, is actually pretty normal. Like, this is actually on the better side of what you can experience with a monster in first generation. And you know what's funny? People will apologize. Like, there are apologists for first gen that see nothing wrong with that. They see nothing wrong with that at all. I'm stuck here because the camera is fucked and I can't see anything. Yeah, okay. I didn't really want to use my Mega Potion there. That's not really the situation in which I would want to use the Mega Potion, but sure. What you doing, lady? It's funny, I feel compelled to say woman or lady, even though it's not a human. Yes, there are female animals, but words like woman and lady are specific to the human race, don't we? Trying to keep this in mind. Just making sure she's not doing a triple fireball there. Whoop. But yeah, if you're a fan of Sword and Shield, first gen's the way to go. If your two options for experiencing Sword and Shield are first generation and second generation, shockingly this is the one, because Sword and Shield is very damaging. Very damaging. So, yeah, enjoy it. It's kind of like easy mode. It's not really like easy mode because there is no real easy mode. Everything's difficult in this game, but monsters will die faster if you use Sword and Shield. It's very noticeable. So you will struggle to really do anything with the Sword and Shield because you have to press every single button in the combo like an extra 2 or 3 times more than you normally would because of the terrible input detection, but it does good damage. I was thinking for a second she was doing Round the World, which would be totally bizarre, but anyway. I think she's going to be fairly cooperative today. She's no Silver Rathalos, I'll tell you that. You don't want to fight Rathalos in this locale. I'll tell you that much. You do not want that. Oh, that's right. I remember I said to you guys, when I was last recording Freedom Unite, I hope that I'll be able to show you Area 9 in the Forest and Hills in first gen sometime. This is it. Check out this camera angle. This is Area 9 of the Forest and Hills, ladies and gentlemen. This is what you had to put up with if you were a first gen hunter. It was like this in 3 games. Not 1, not 2, but 3 Monster Hunter games. It looked like this. And Capcom admitted that it was a mistake. It was an error in the code. This was not intentional. You really... Okay, if you want to fight him then, sure. Let's do it. I agree. I think that's fair. Sometimes, look, it depends on the team that you've got. Some people just don't care. I do care, so if they also care, then I will come and fight her here. This is in the larger area. This is what you really want. So, yeah, you are you know what I'm doing here? This actually hurts my eyes. This area hurts my fucking eyes, and if you think just playing the game is rough already, doing it at this camera angle is just, it's something else. It's really quite an unbelievable experience. It's one of those things, again, that you can probably appreciate a reasonable amount just watching it, but when you're playing the game, it's just on another level, because you're physically trying to interact with it. If you're watching it, it looks bad, but if you're physically trying to interact with it, it's some shocking stuff. It's really shocking. Okay, okay, I can't really see what's going on, but I know that you're gearing up for a tail flip, so I had my shield out. I'm getting landed on, I've got trees in my way. As you can tell, you're probably starting to understand why second generation is beautifully polished compared to this. I couldn't dive there because it wasn't letting me do the sprint. She's changing position. Oh, she's leaving, okay. You do that. This is very bad, Vern. It's very bad. I have to tell you, when I say that first generation is a complete fucking mess, I'm not being dramatic. It is a complete fucking mess. All you can do is develop a way to detach from it. You just have to detach. You have to grit your teeth and just be like, "Argh! I'm going to just put up with everything that this game throws at me." And eventually you will get to this point where you can just laugh at it. You can sit back and go, okay, that's going to happen, no problem. But if you're really just trying to get through the game and do what you need to do at low rank or high rank level, this kind of shit will break you. Spiritually, emotionally, physically, everything. You will change as a person playing this game. And the later the generation that you started in was, the more you're going to suffer. And I suffered a great deal being a second gen player. I can't imagine what it's like for a third or fourth gen player. For a fifth gen player, I would just recommend to stay the hell away. Don't even attempt it. This is not for a 5th gen player. I actually want to see a person. I think that would be extremely funny. That would be a hilarious social experiment. To get a person who has only played World and make them play this. That would be... wow. That would be pretty impressive stuff. That would be some of the greatest comedy you could imagine in this world. But, yeah. This is what we've got here. So, you can see what I mean when I say that getting a well-built character in first generation is a real accomplishment. And this is what I'm doing at the moment in Monster Hunter, you know? I'm playing games like this. And can you believe that I'm going to play Monster Hunter G after this? Monster Hunter G is even harder than this game. Monster Hunter G is this, but instead of bad input detection, you use the analog stick to attack. So, and maybe some things will be even more broken, I don't know, but what I will tell you is that there are more difficult hunts to deal with. And notice how long this is taking, by the way. This is because this is a single monster hunt. She is doing more damage, she's got more health, she is an absolute truck right now. She's hitting like a truck, she's tanking damage like a truck, because she is a single monster hunt at G rank level. So that's the difference between a double quest and a single monster quest in this game. One thing to also take note of is that double quests have almost no small monsters spawning with the monster. So, in fact, probably actually no monsters spawning. Small monsters spawning with the large monsters, because 2 large monsters is deemed sufficient. But with a small monster hunt, excuse me, with a single monster hunt, you do get lots of more small monsters. Not in this area, apparently, which is very nice to see. But, generally that's the rule. If you're doing a single monster hunt, the monster is much stronger, both defense and offense-wise. And you'll also be dealing with many, many more small monsters in the hunt. I'm not aiming for the head because I want to leave that to Jasmine. You can see that she's doing upswings there. I don't want to be affected by that. I was unable to shield that. Let's sharpen up. I have 2 Mega Potions remaining. It is unsurprising to see that all of my healing wares have been depleted fighting this single monster. Oh, can you please not do that there? Do it on the head where I know you're going to attack and that I can avoid. That would be the nicest thing for you to do. We've officially broken everything on the monster, there we go. Aiming for the knockdown, there we go, and now we'll aim for the head. I don't care about Jasmine, she can do what she needs to. I want this to end soon. Which it won't, but we'll try anyway. This is a G-rank monster, we're all G-rank level, but this is not. It's not a simple process. But yeah, if you wanted easy mode, it was double quests, double monster quests, that is. But single monster quests are definitely hard mode. 15 minutes. And that's definitely partially a result of Raytheon's stupidity. The way she's behaving in the quest. And that's one thing to take into consideration. Quests take longer in this game, not just because, for example, a single monster may have a lot of health. It can also take longer because the monster is spending so much time fucking around. And you just can't hit the thing because it's fucking around. So, expect to allocate more time to a hunt in this game than in any other monster hunter game. That's what I'll tell you. It's probably going to be about a 16-17 minute hunt. I'll let her come out of there. Because if I go in there, I'm going to have war collisions all over the place. Jasmine's just going in there doing what she can. I'm letting her come to me. There we go. That's a single Raytheon. And while we had a group of 3 there instead of a group of 4, you can see that the double quests are definitely easier. Without a doubt easier. So, yeah. That's probably a good example of first generation. If you really want the epitome of first gen, just do a single monster hunt at G-rank level and then you'll get an idea. Especially if it's a flying wyvern. But do keep in mind that monster classifications such as flying wyvern do not exist in first generation. I don't think I can access my monster list here. Oh no, I can. But you'll see that there are no monster types here. You've only got the number of the monster when it comes to the monster list. You've got the name of the monster, you've got the size of the monster that you've hunted in terms of, like, have you found the largest one? There are no small crowns in this game, you've only got large crowns. So, the largest one I've fought is a silver crown for Rathalos. I've slain 39 of them. And it doesn't tell you what type of wyvern it is because there are no classifications. The only classification is Elder Dragon in this game. But that is not reflected in the game itself. That's only reflected in the lore. So there you go. Now we're going for time. I'll try to do one more hunt, if it's interesting. If it's an interesting hunt, I'll do it. But, yeah. The more I can demonstrate the brokenness of first generation Monster Hunter, the happier I am. Because that's the whole point of recording it. Is to document how fucking broken it is. I don't know what our next hunt will be, but I will make my way to the kitchen. Just taking my time this time. Hold on, I need to Bingus Misery. Actually, I'll reply. Oh, Miku's here. Miku actually made an appearance in the chat during one of my Twilight Princess livestream playthroughs. What you drink? Oh, you're watching the livestream, are you? That's funny. This is port, just fortified wine. I'm having a nice time experiencing the brokenness of Monster Hunter Freedom, which is why I always play this game. Well, it's the only reason I play this game, is to enjoy the brokenness of it. I used to hate it, but now I've become pretty, how do I say, desensitized to it. I'm used to it now. But I can still sit back and go, wow, look how broken this is, because I do play the newer games. Generations 2, 3, and 4. And I don't have to deal with that kind of shit, so I am still able to put it in perspective and say, wow, this is a fucking mess. But there you go. I don't know what our next quest is, but it'll probably be the last one. Going to speed up into the guild hall, or the gathering hall as it is more appropriately called. Okay. What have we got on the board? Please something interesting for my last time. Something different to what I've done up until this point. No, just the same sort of thing. At least it's a double quest, because then we'll know that it'll be over in about 7 minutes. As opposed to 17. But anyway. I will go Greatsword again. Because Greatsword's good fun. I do like to show off the way Greatsword works here in this game. What are my headphones doing? The charging thing is blinking now. What does that even mean? If my headphones were to break, I don't know what I'd do with myself. Because I've used these headphones for so long. I'd probably cry if they just stopped charging. You know, I could be having problems with the batteries, it's possible. It's definitely possible. Not that this is interesting to you guys, but I have had problems with the batteries in the past. Where they actually managed to get dislodged. Somehow the batteries just get dislodged and it... Oh, there goes Bob the Builder with his circular saw. I think he's only doing a few cuts here and there, however. Alright, is that going to charge it now? There we go. That's charging now. I bumped my webcam a little bit. There we go. Just making sure that it's under control. I don't know if we're being joined by anyone else. I'd rather not two-man this particular quest, but... just thought that I would document this. So, there is a player in Hunsterverse named Flavio. Just thought that I'd show this off. Look at this fucking profile picture. It's Medley, but she looks like she's totally blazed. I don't know why you would actually want to... And also this custom status, this is a load of shit. He's had this... The owner of this account is currently having sex, he'll be back. He's not. He's had that status for like a month. I mean, he could be having sex for a month straight, it's possible, but I doubt it. He's put it there to annoy virgins, I guess, I don't know. Shut up, Bob, seriously. He's really going for it now, he's got something to cut. We may very well have to two-man this. We may very well have to two-man this. Oh, whoops. I didn't put this stuff away, but you know what? That's probably not too bad, because we're just going to be getting more... No, we're not getting more of the same sort of thing. I have to let Jasmine know. Oh, that's right, you're... Uruku or something, yeah, okay. Just putting something away, and then we'll depart with two. Actually, I had to check my keyboard to see what I was typing there, because, again, my webcam is in the way of my computer screen, and past a certain point in my typed sentence, I can't see what I'm typing anymore. So, alright. But yes, it's starting to look like we have to two-man this quest. I would really rather not, but it's alright. It's not going to be too hard, because again, well, what we'll do... That's a good idea. How much honey do I have? Okay, I've got 10. Exactly 10, which is not bad at all. Let's go and take these out. And what I'm going to do is, as well as that, take out these books of combos. I'm going to put them straight back into the box once I'm done. But I'm going to combine honey. Okay, I have to do it like this, that's fine. There we go. Now we've got mega potions. Put these back in, and put the honey back in too. And we've got one potion left, which is perfect, because it's keeping that space in the pouch, and then we'll top up our potions, and then we will be ready to go well and truly. We don't have to worry about running out of healing wares this time. I probably could have gathered some more honey there, but laziness reigns supreme, I suppose. Alright. Let's do it. Two-man... Pink Raytheon and Azure Rathlos in the Forest and Hills. If it were an arena quest, I can assure you I would not be two-manning it. No way in hell. It just wouldn't be happening. But this is a good example of why I would use Auto Tracker. I mean, you can buy Psycho Serums, I suppose, so maybe Auto Tracker isn't that incredibly important, but... I don't know. Hello. Well... I suppose I will go and join Jasmine. Because there's no real reason to solo our monsters. I think that's going a bit far. There's no reason to force ourselves to do that. What is Jasmine using? She's using the Pink Raytheon Greatsword. It's probably what she's upgrading. It's like a pink jaw blade. It's very weird looking, isn't it? Well, that's an example of a weapon that I don't believe has left this generation. It could have. It might be in 2nd gen. You can't underestimate the number of weapons that are in Freedom Unite. There are a lot. But I've never seen that outside of this generation, I'll tell you that. So it's possible that it's only here. Oh, fuck off. Well, 2 Greatswords versus a Pink Raytheon, and my camera is going crazy as usual. Wow, the tail is already off. I guess the health of the tails is also reduced in a double quest, which is funny, but there you go. You'd be taking a lot more time cutting a tail in a single monster quest, that's all I can say. Oh, great, there's a bot in the fucking Twitch chat. 2 of them? Okay, 1 is enough, I don't need 2 bots, fucking hell. But 1 bot isn't sufficient. Imagine buying followers, imagine doing that. Because there are people out there who would, that's the sad thing. That is the sad thing. I can't think of anything more pointless than that. Well. What are you doing? Well. I regret to say that Jasmine has bit the dust. Yeah, significantly less damage. That's the big difference between 1st generation and all the other ones. The double monster quests really are easy mode. Because both of these hunts are at G rank level. Which is not so visible unless you are familiar with the number of stars that a G rank quest normally would have. That's the big indicator. There we go, now we've got the wing to break. Try and get that wing there. Oh, well, we would have if you could hear me. I mean, you could actually hear me spamming my controller, but all I did was just walk up to the monster and get hit by wind press. Actually, what I believe to be about 4 button presses of triangle did not allow me to draw my weapons, so yeah, that's the input detection issues of Freedom for you. It's just lovely. It's just lovely. And it's not consistent at all, that's the problem. It's very random. It's very random. But yeah, because this is a double quest, I think we should be alright to 2-man, and it shouldn't even take us 15 minutes. We'll see, it might, but hopefully not. Depends on our performance, really. But I think we'll be alright. That went underneath the head, which is not too great. Managed to get that, which is good. Go for another head attack there. Headlocking, of course, in first generation is a big thing, but I don't expect to see me headlocking any monsters with a Greatsword. Headlocking is easiest with Lance, because the Lance is one of the more consistent and directional weapon types in the game, but yeah. Greatsword headlocking, no. Whoa. Shield that? No. Not fast enough, Doomlink, not fast enough. No, I'm not going to use a Mega Potion, I'll save them. I have to be more sparing, more liberal with my use of Mega Potions, because as you can see, honey is not that easy to get in this game. I mean, yes, if you really wanted to, you could just do some Harvest Tour quests to reset the farm and then just get your honey that way, but you can't keep much of it in your box because it takes up too much space, so in the end, your honey is valuable, even though technically the fact that you can't get a lot of it in a single visit to the farm, even though that doesn't mean that you're forced to not have much. The fact that you can't store much of it means that it is still fairly valuable. So I suppose honey has always been valuable, it's just been a different degree of value depending on what game you're playing, and in this game, honey is like gold. And that is a Rathalos, or rather a Raytheon flying through a solid wall, which is good. Don't know why she insists on flying through the solid wall, but she does. Try to knock her down here if we can. No, just failed to do that. Sorry, Jonathan. As you can see, we've already got a limp there on Raytheon. Yeah, that is well and truly a pink jawblade. That is funny to see. Because I was not familiar with that weapon design. I didn't know that you could get a pink jawblade. But you can, apparently. And it is always possible that it was in Freedom Unite, it's just you could almost never see all of the Freedom Unite weapon designs unless you specifically checked them all. But in terms of making weapons and seeing other people using weapons in, hey, pink Raytheon plate, that's fucking cool. In terms of crafting weapons and seeing the weapons that other people use in online halls, you would never see all of the weapon designs in Freedom Unite that way. I don't care how long you play. You would have to actually go out of your way to check them all in order to see them all. Oh, don't start fucking gathering. Stop it. Stop! One thing that you will notice is the timing for carves and for gathering, in terms of at what point in the animation you receive the item. It's the same as Generations and Generations Ultimate. They, for some reason in those games, decided to return to the same timing as first gen. Don't know why, but that's what they did. which was something I discussed quite a long time ago. But here, now that I'm actually recording first gen, I can demonstrate that. Which is good. Look at him moving his head while walking. I guess in some ways, first gen is actually more advanced. Head movements while walking. Stop it. Don't you do that, mister. I don't need this fucking behaviour. So this is going to be a much more unpleasant experience because Rathalos is a real asshole compared to Raytheon in these games. He won't get out of the fucking air half the time. And on top of that, he's got his fireballs which do much more damage. Well, his fireballs probably do similar damage to Raytheon, but he can do more with them. Like what you just saw there. The classic attacking the ground and then flying backwards. Sorry, Jasmine. Oh no, I didn't end up upswinging you there. Well, that's good. I'm not really... There's the classic combo. I'm going to roar and then charge at you before you can recover from the roar. It's very nice of you. Whoa! Straight into the fireball. Anything that you see as annoying when it comes to Azure Rathalos, multiply that by 2 with Silver Rathalos, because he's a fucking asshole. Get out of the air. Walk up to the shadow like you would with Fatalist, and you can't do anything to you. I'm not really hell-bent on cutting that tail, but I'm quite hell-bent on attacking him as frequently as I can. Okay. Come on! I was trying to go for the tail there, actually, but I couldn't get the attack out in time to hit the fucking tail, because I was... You know, obviously you move forward so that you can position yourself, but if you are pressing the button to attack, you just end up moving forward until you're out of position. If the game decides that you haven't actually pressed the button to attack even though you have. It's fucking frustrating. Sorry, Jasmine. But we both know why we do upswings, it's because it's actually consistent. That was me shielding wind press if I could, but I was shockingly out of range. By the way, wind pressure in this game does have greater range than in the later games. Most certainly. We're both getting in position for the tail here. Oh no, of course you wouldn't let me attack. Sounds about right to me. Come on, Mr. Tail. Excellent. I feel bad launching Jasmine over and over again, but I don't as well, because there's no other choice. If it weren't me, it would be. Or if it weren't her, it would be me. And, I mean, I guess we could be more careful and try not to stand too close to each other, but I don't know. Upswinging is just so integral to the Greatsword combo in first generation, because it's the only, I mean, well, at the very least, it's most integral here in Freedom, because the input detection is so fucking bad that for some reason, the only attack that is actually consistent, that will almost always, in fact, I've never had an issue with Upswing. Upswing always has perfect input detection. For some reason, that's the way it is, so you end up doing upswings a lot with Greatsword. It's good damage too. It's the second most damaging attack, so the most damaging attack is the overhead, followed by the upswing, and then your last is this. This is your weakest attack. And isn't it funny that you've only got those attacks with Greatsword, nothing else? Survival of the fittest? It is very much like that. Orange boy. It is very much like that. Unfortunately, Jasmine's gone the wrong way. Like, really gone the wrong way. So, I had only just now noticed, but... to ping in this game, you have to go to gestures, and then you can ping. Can you believe that? They actually make pinging something that you have to go into gestures to do. That's another oh, there we go. Rathalos has gone and charged all the way over into nothing and now has to reposition. But yeah, there's another example of something that I wouldn't think to mention as a change from 1st to 2nd gen. Doing a beacon here needs to be done in the gestures menu. So, there you go. It's another thing that I just end up mentioning just while playing the game. So that attack there is what sent him flying off the fucking edge before. He might even do it again. No, he didn't do it that time, but if he's in the right position, he won't have anything to land on and he'll just go flying into nothing. And then he has to fly around to reposition. Ugh. I can barely see what you're doing. It's so funny to sheathe, or rather shield, sorry, with a longsword based greatsword. Because it really doesn't look like it would shield much, because it's so thin. Ow. Don't think we're... oh shit. Unfortunately that attack really does have a wide hitbox. Let's make a potion. Oh, he's up there now, is he? Whenever he ends up at a higher level or at a lower level than he should be, he will fly to a specific spot to reposition. Oh dear. Up I go. Come on, fuck! This is why I do upswings. I was pressing circle after that attack and it just refused to accept my input. Refused. So that's why we do upswings, ladies and gentlemen. It's because of dumb shit like that. Okay. So, ignore wind press with our attack and then upswing. Into triangle, upswing. Never mind, hit by tail. Camera is a mess, as you would expect, given what I have recounted up until this point. I don't know how long that attack lingers. Oh, no, oh, that nearly hit me. That was close. Come on. There we go into that attack. By the way, hit lag, sorry, in this case, not input lag. The hit lag, in other words, the game slowing down when you make contact with the monster, actually does have a negative impact on the input detection. I have come to realize that. It gets a whole lot worse when you've got that to deal with. Where are you going? Oh, he's doing around the world? Or is he changing locations? I actually don't know. He's doing around the world. Because in this era of Monster Hunter, look at him flying on an angle. Look at him go. Nice work, man. Doing real well today, Rathalos.
I'm not drunk.
But yeah, in this era of Monster Hunter, when a monster leaves the area, they don't go super high in the sky. They actually remain at a fairly visible level. So when Rathalos does around the world here, it's not immediately obvious, because he flies at the same altitude whether he's doing around the world or if he's just leaving the area. Whereas in the later games, because typically the monsters go super high in the air if they're changing areas, it's immediately obvious when Rathalos is doing around the world because he'll be at low altitude. So it's a little different here. But around the world is really a great example of something that was kept from traditional Monster Hunter, and well kept in the sense that they left it in 3rd and 4th gen, and it was such a 1st gen thing for a monster just flying around in a fucking circle and then ultimately do nothing. I don't know why they decided to keep that. It was so strange. I mean, yes, the monster did end up doing something in 3rd gen. You know, he'd come in and do that claw attack, but it was so easy to avoid. It was so pointless. It was just a weird thing for them to keep. I don't know why they did that, but they did. Anyway, that'll probably do it. I'm probably going to do highlights of those weird moments, just to have a bit of a compilation of stupid moments with these monsters, because for some people it's quite novel, you know, they're not familiar with how broken these games are, so I'll definitely highlight those. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it, Vernon, because that's... and there's more where that came from. I'm telling you, you've only seen the flying wyverns, and there's some weird shit that you still haven't seen with the flying wyverns, but there are some other monsters that do some fucking weird shit in this game. Really, really weird shit, particularly Kezu. Kezu does stuff that will blow your mind. But, oh, my item box is full, ladies and gentlemen, check this out. Just, you know, I had the audacity to put things in my box and now it's full, so what would I like to remove? Goodbye, stun shrooms. These earth crystals are important, by the way. Insect husks can fuck off. Goodbye, god bugs. Goodbye, bitter bugs. Whoa, I have too many flash bugs. Okay, so I'm just going to... I'll sell these. But yeah, that's it for this recording, guys. I do thank you all for watching. I do hope you enjoyed. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. I didn't mean to sell the fucking Rathalos claw. I can live with that, but... I didn't sell a plate or anything, but... I didn't mean to sell those. Because I was meaning to store those. Anyway, it's a bit of money. But yeah, how many slots do I have now? 5. Not too bad. But yeah, that's first generation Monster Hunter, everyone. There will be more of that in the future, just not anytime soon, because I do want to build this character up more so that you have more to watch and enjoy. And that will definitely happen in the future. I'm not leaving this game alone. I will be working on it quite seriously. So, probably not this year, but maybe next year I'll come on with a really well-built character and just do lots of first generation Monster Hunter. Because I have a feeling that I probably won't be playing much Rise by that time. Or much 5th or 6th gen Monster Hunter at all. So, yeah, it'll be time to fully dive into first generation Monster Hunter, and that will be reflected in my video uploads. Anyway, I do thank you all for watching, hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time I'm playing Monster Hunter or anything else of mine that you'd like to watch. Bye bye.